Alrighty, folks, let's talk timing strategies for logical reasoning sections. Now, many of you watching this video may be beginning the course and freaking out about how you're ever going to do that many questions in 35 minutes. Maybe you took your first or second practice exam and only got halfway through the section before time was called. Well, for those of you still in the beginning of your LSAT studies, truly don't worry about timing so much right now. The best way to get quick is to master the strategies for all of the question types. Practice slowly. Let yourself think about how the questions are structured, how similar a particular question is to one you might have done before. All of that work on the strategies and memorizing question prompts is the thing that's eventually going to make a logical reasoning section doable, not just for timing, but also for accuracy. Now, on the other hand, if you're gearing up for the test and pretty familiar with the question types and strategies, we're going to talk about how to break down a logical reasoning section so that you can stay on track and finish on time. As you may have noticed in taking practice exams, the sections on the LSAT get more difficult in the second half of the section than in the first half. That is true in general for reading comprehension and logical reasoning. That's not to say that you'll never see a really tough question in the first half of the section, but just that on average, there tend to be a lot more difficult and time-consuming questions in the second half. So, if the harder questions tend to be in the second half of the section, we'll have to account for that in our timing plan for attacking the section. You'll have to move a little more quickly through the first half of the section so that you leave yourself some time to tackle the more difficult questions in the second half. So here's a general outline for where you should aim to be at certain time points during the section. You should aim to do the first 10 questions of the section in about 10 or 11 minutes. That's pretty quick. You're aiming to spend just around a minute per question for the first 10 questions in the section. After that, for questions 11 through 20, aim to do them in 15-ish minutes. That translates to about a minute and a half per question. So putting these two things together, the first 20 questions should take you about 25 or 26 minutes. That leaves you with 9 or 10 minutes to do the questions from 21 to the end, which will end up being about 2 minutes per question. Maybe you won't need all that time, but to the extent that you have any extra time, you can go back and take a look at any of the other questions that you weren't sure about the first time you did them. So that's the basic outline of where you should aim to be during the logical reasoning section to make sure that you'll get a chance to answer every question. 10 or 11 minutes for the first 10 questions, 15 minutes for questions 11 through 20, and then the rest of the time for whatever remains in the section.